where would we be? If it wasn't for the Lord on our side, where would we be? It is obvious in our lives that Jesus has fixed so many things that were broken. That's right, Jesus fixed it for us. Yeah. Jesus has fixed the sin problem. He fixed it real good. The humans now have the ability to come to God as they are. Jesus fixed the problem that man had with God. He fixed that right up. Jesus even fixed the communication problems. The cell phones wasn't working right, and now Jesus fixed the communication problems that we had with God. Today, I would like to introduce to some and present to others Jesus Christ, the master mechanic. What is this guy doing? Jesus Christ, the master mechanic. You got it right. Where his motto is, if I can't fix it, it can't be done. Allow me to tell you about his track record. Let me just tell you a little bit about this Jesus Christ, the master mechanic. His track record and some of his great accomplishments that he has done. I did a lot of research on this master mechanic. If John was here, I could say, go to the website. He even got a website, Jesus, the master mechanic. But you don't have to do that. Listen to this. There's a website there. And a lot of research about this. And I found out that he is certified by the best team. I looked at his bio and I found out that he has this TP certification. And that means that he's been tried and proven. And to be everything that he says that he would do. According to others, he has multiple certifications, which includes a bridge over troubled waters, been a lily in the valley, been the bright and morning star, been the wheel in the middle of a wheel. And not only that, he has, not only does he have stellar reviews. This master mechanic has stellar reviews, and we know how it goes, that before we send our car to a new mechanic, we got to read his reviews. And Jesus Christ has the best reviews I have ever seen. Matter of fact, I found 66 books that speak about the great things that he has done. In one particular book in which we read today, there is a story about Jesus being the master mechanic and fixing a hungry problem. According to the book of Matthew, it says, a book of Matthew. I would get in trouble with my seminary professor if I did not say that right. According to the book of Matthew 14, it talks about when a crowd was following Jesus. And it was evening time and the crowd grew hungry. And the disciples told Jesus, send the crowd away, for it's getting late. However, Jesus said to the crowd, they do not need to go away. Jesus told the disciples, you feed them. Listen to this. Then Jesus told the disciples to bring 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish to him, so he could simply meet the need of the crowd following him. Jesus took the 5 loaves and 2 fish, looking up to heaven, gave thanks, and broke the loaves. And then he gave the fish and the loaves to the disciples, and the disciples distributed to the people. After everyone ate and was satisfied, the disciples collected 12 full baskets for leftovers. So today we're going to look into how we can experience the master mechanic Jesus Christ's blessing in our lives. And look into what we need in order to have a thankful heart. And the text helps us to answer that question. The first thing we notice is Jesus wants to bless us. He really does. He wants to bless us. Because we read this. In verse 16, I don't know, you ready? Verse 16, you want to bring that up? Okay, that's okay. I'll just read it. The disciples said, send the crowd away so they can go to the village and buy themselves some food. Jesus replied, they do not need to go away. You give them something to eat. In this text, Jesus could have sent the crowd away hungry and in despair. He could have had someone or something else meet the hunger need of the crowd. But Jesus decides to meet the hunger need through his miraculous power. That is one wonderful thing about Jesus. Like a mechanic knows what a car needs, Jesus also desires to take care of our needs, and he wants to bless you. He wants to help you. He wants to be in tune with you. Notice something. Many of us have that one mechanic that we always go to. That mechanic may be a friend or someone we trust with our car. Am I connecting with any of you here today? Any of you got cars? Okay, I just want to make sure I'm talking to the right people. What I noticed is that the more I bring my car to a mechanic, the more familiar he becomes with the car. If I'm having trouble with my car and do not know what's going on, I found that the mechanic is familiar with my car, and many times all I have to do is describe what's going on, and immediately the mechanic knows what's wrong. That's the same way with Jesus Christ. The more time you spend with him through prayer and reading his word, the more you become familiar with him and all that he has in store for you. The more you realize that if I stand in need of something, I don't need to search all over looking for something and looking for someone to fix my problems. You can take it to Jesus because he wants to bless you. Amen. Notice in this verse, the disciples wanted to send the people away. The crowds were following Jesus, grew large, and the disciples became worried. It was getting late. They had no idea what to do. So they suggested, Jesus, should we send them away home? In the disciples' mind, they could not figure out how this crowd was going to be fed. That is why I believe Jesus Christ wants to bless us. And Jesus is telling us you don't have to worry. Your needs will not only be met, but exceeded. Jesus is letting us know that I will supply all your needs according to my riches and glory. But here's the message for us on this Thanksgiving. Notice Jesus gave a direct message. I'm going to say a direct message. He said, you feed them. Did you get that? You feed them. Jesus told his disciples to feed the hungry crowd, and I believe that Jesus Christ is telling us that same statement today. You feed them. You feed them. As we prepare tonight to enjoy Thanksgiving meal as a family, I challenge someone that cannot feed themselves, that you feed them. Leader, you feed them. Thanksgiving is just not about us eating, but it's also about blessing someone else that is less fortunate to eat as well. Hear these words to you from Jesus Christ himself. You feed them. Let this Thanksgiving be a time where you feed someone in need. And watch how Jesus Christ works on your life because he wants to bless you. Because he should. And because we should be thankful. The second thing that we have, the second thing that we see here we need to do in order to receive a blessing from the Lord is bring what we have. Craig, all you got to do is just bring what you have. Listen to this verse. She's not there. I'm going to just read it. Verse 18. We have here only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, they answered. And Jesus said, bring them here to me. Bring them here to me. Beverly, he just said, bring them here to me. In this text, we see that Jesus spoke up and said, bring what you have to me. Listen to this. Can I tell you a short story? I'll never forget, here I was. I'm returning from England. My car needed some major repairs, but I didn't have a lot of income. But I knew that I had to get my car fixed. So I knew I had to get my car fixed. So I tried to go out and purchase cheap parts for my car. Listen to this. I'm going out and purchasing cheap parts for my car. I went to various part places and compared the prices and finally found the cheapest parts I could find for my car. Now I was faced with the problem. I had the parts in my hand, but I didn't have anyone that could put the parts on. I didn't even know Ben at the time, and so I was confused Ben. I didn't know who I could put the parts on, so I began to call around the different mechanics. I called Firestone, they're pretty cool. I called Firestone, and I said, could you help me? I have these parts, and could you put them on my car? Listen, would you guess what Firestone said? We only put on the parts that we have and that we can guarantee. So I called Goodyear. I like, surely they a good year, maybe no. I said, I bought these parts and I was wondering if you can install them. And listen what they said. If you don't buy from us, we can't install the parts because we don't guarantee the parts that you have is of good quality. Well, it's my car. Why would I just put the parts on? So I was in a bind. I had a cheap parts that I needed, but I didn't have a mechanic that could put it on. Finally, I remembered that on base they have mechanics. So I called up Fort Lee, talked to the mechanic on the base, told him my situation. You know what he told me? Bring what you got and let's see what we can do. That's what Jesus is saying to us today. Some of our lives are broken, busted, and disgusted. Some of us may consider worthless and cheap. Some of us really don't have much, but Jesus is saying today, bring me what you have and I will fix it. Jesus is saying your life may be broken, but bring it to me. Your heart may be in pieces, but bring it to me. Your self-esteem may be low, and you don't know if there's anything left, but Jesus is saying, bring it to me. Amen. Bring the little that you have to me, and then I will fix it. Some of you may be saying, well, Jesus, I don't have much. I was born into a poor family. My mom didn't love me. I didn't know my dad. I've been hurt by so many people. My heart is broken. My trust is gone. And I just don't know if you can fix my problem. When I found out about Jesus and listened to the CW, when I found out about Jesus and that he has a 100% success rate. And with all his clients. And I've never seen a life that he couldn't fix. I've never seen a client that wasn't satisfied. I've never seen a situation that he couldn't solve. I hear Jesus saying, the greater the challenge, the greater of the reward. I believe the church is the only place I know that believes that you should bring a perfectly good car to a mechanic. Can I say that again, John? I believe the church is the only place I know that believe that you should bring a perfectly good car to the mechanic. What good is a mechanic to a perfectly good car? No, that's not how it goes. What you bring to the mechanic are the cars that are in need of a repair. You bring the car that has been broken, that's messed up, torn up. You bring it to the mechanic and say, you fix it. Stop trying to fix things yourself and bring it to the master mechanic. And let him fix it. Bring what you have. Bring who you really are. Bring the broken you. Bring the hurt you. Bring the tears that you have. Bring the sorrow in your heart. Bring the anger in your heart. Bring it to Jesus and let him fix it. That's the kind of God we serve. Because I know Jesus. He will fix it. He will fix it. Watch him pick you up, turn you around, and place your feet back on solid ground. Watch him change rain in your life into sunshine. Watch him change your tears into laughter. Watch how Jesus said you may weep and endure for a night. Joy is coming in the morning. This is all because we know that Jesus can fix it. Jesus is telling us today to bring it to him. Everything that we are, everything that we're not, everything that we desire to be, running, we need to bring it to the Lord. And we can bring it to him and watch God exceed our expectations. Watch how God shows up and shows out in our situation and our circumstances. We need to bring it to Jesus. Thank y'all for this opportunity. I'm closing now. In order to receive an exceeding blessing from the Lord. You ready for this, Donna? you need to carry a basket. Like, Travis, a sermon. Listen to this. The Bible records in verse 20. Listen to this. Disciples picked up 12 baskets full of broken pieces that were left over. And in the text we see that all 12 disciples had a basket. Here they are in a desert place. But disciples had a basket. Notice in the text, the disciples said, Lord, we are in a remote place. We're in the desert. In some translations, it says the desert. We all know that a desert place is where you don't expect anything to grow. A desert place is a there without any water, without any vegetation, without any trees, and many other things. A desert place is where it seems like nothing good can happen. Many of you know what it's like to be in a desert place. You feel alone and by yourself. You feel weary and tired. It seems like the more you try, nothing seems to work in your favor. Am I talking to anyone today? A desert place is not a fun place to be. It's a dry place. Many of us have found ourselves in. But watch how Jesus works in this desert place. Watch how Jesus fixes the situation in this desert place. Jesus took the 5 loaves and 2 fish, looking up to heaven. He gave thanks, broke the bread, and then he gave the fish and the loaves to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. And after everyone ate and was satisfied, the disciples collected 12 full baskets of leftovers. What many people miss in this text is that the disciples had a basket. Wait, I thought that nothing grows in the desert. I thought there was nothing to be picked up in the desert. I thought there was no plants or no flowers to be put in the basket. So why does the disciples have a basket? What was the purpose of the basket in this story? A basket was their way of carrying around items needed by others. A basket was their way of saying, I don't have anything to put in the basket now, but I'm expecting God to fill this basket one day. CW, I feel like preaching. I believe God can and fill the empty baskets in our lives because I believe that Jesus can fix our problems. Yes. Even though you may be in a desert place, expect a miracle. I feel that. Expect a miracle. That's hard for us sometimes. We're in a desert place of our lives. How can we expect a miracle? And carry a basket. Carrying a basket means I don't know when. I don't know how, and I don't know how it's going to happen, but I know that God is going to bless me. I know God is going to exceed my needs, and I will not have room enough to receive it all. I will bring my basket. Yeah. Our basket in this case may be an open heart, ready to receive the word from the Lord. An open mind, ready to do his will, and an open mouth, ready to tell everybody about his goodness. A basket sends a clear message to God and to others. I believe in expecting God to do the supernatural in my life. I'm expecting God to do this for me. Yeah. There's no other options for him. I'm expecting God to bless me beyond my wildest dreams. I'm expecting the master mechanic to fix the problems that's in my life. I'm expecting God to do the extraordinary because I know that there's nothing impossible with Jesus Christ. Is there anybody here that can join me with the expectation of that God can do the unexpected? Yes. Amen. Believe God at his word. Bring a basket in expectation what he's going to do in your lives. My bills are due. Lord, here's my basket. My health is at risk. Lord, here's my basket. Lord, I feel like giving up. Lord, here is my basket. Take my basket to the Lord and do whatever you need to do. Because I know you can fix it. And I know you can make it right. I'm closing now. I've enjoyed that sermon. That was really fun.